Hello wonderful people, and welcome back to another monthly month. Oof, I gotta say, you've all blown me away. Last month we had our first ever viewer question, thank you the Gamersician. And this month we have not one and several ounces, but 2 viewer questions. I guess miracles really do happen. But before we answer those questions, let's look back at some Nintendo news from the last month with things that did occur. To start off, we're going all the way back to last month with the news that Breath of the Wild 2's release date has officially been pushed back to 2023, which means unfortunately there'll be no Breath of the Wild 2 this year. As much as it's been a bit of a disastrous press build-up to the game with multiple delays, I'm happy that they're taking their time to get the game right and make sure it's of a high quality. You gotta wonder what they're up to though. You think with the engine being built, it wouldn't be taking this long. What the heck are they doing in there? But I feel like they've been really respectful to fans. I mean, how many games get full videos just to announce delays? And I'm especially glad that they haven't treated it like Advance Wars Reboot Camp. What the heck is going on with that game now? Where are you, Advance Wars? I feel like I need to start pinning up missing posters. Of course, with any Zelda updates, the rumor mill gets going, and some people seem convinced that Breath of the Wild 2 won't run well on Switch, and therefore it'll be released alongside a Switch Pro in 2023. I actually think this would be a pretty smart move, and it would definitely be the push I need to adopt shiny new hardware on day one. Oh, and another fun rumor that's been flying around for years now is that now that we've got this big Zelda gap, maybe the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD remasters could finally find a home on the Switch. Which would be lovely, but let's not hold our breath. It seems that Zelda isn't the only Nintendo icon susceptible to delays though. Apparently the Mario movie is also being pushed back to 2023. It'll be releasing sometime in April, so we'll have to wait a whole extra year to hear Chris Pratt's epic Italian plumber character acting. Whilst Breath of the Wild 2 and the Mario movie are being pushed back, in a shock twist that never seems to happen in game development, like, ever. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is being brought forward. An RPG is being released ahead of schedule. What sorcery is this? That's right, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will now release on the 29th of July, 2022. We got a juicy trailer all about it that actually kind of blew me away. In a world saturated by cinematic trailers with a not actually gameplay footage caption tucked away in the corner for a lot of the big new releases, getting to see a trailer that was the perfect mix of beautiful story beats and actual gameplay was so refreshing. And I'll be honest, I had no interest in playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but after watching this trailer, I kinda think I want to play it. Give me the Xenoblade. I just know that I probably won't finish it though. Ugh. Having the attention span of a squirrel can be rough. Earlier in the month, the free Boss Rush update for Metroid Dread dropped, and I kinda just sorta didn't care. I feel bad. Metroid Dread was one of my favorite games of last year, but I feel like this Boss Rush could have been in the base game, and the DLC could have been a post-game area or something, but I don't know, maybe I'm just being too greedy. We also got a meaty trailer and release update for Splatoon 3. The game will be arriving on the 9th of September, and yep. Cool. Here's the part where I say something interesting about Splatoon 3, but I've never played a Splatoon game before, so... In other news, Nintendo continues to baffle me with their online membership services. Mario Golf for the N64 arrived on the 15th, we got new NES and SNES games randomly added to the base membership, and more Genesis games dropped. Is there a pattern to any of this? No. Do they have a plan? I don't know. Does this entire online service lack consistency and reliability? Yes. Basically, if the Nintendo Online membership and the expansion pack were dating you and you came to me and asked what I thought about your relationship, I might tell you to find another subscription that is dependable, treats you right, and has a solid foundation for a relationship. And yet here I am, paying for it. In more exciting Switch Online news, the rumors of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games coming to the Switch in the near future kicked off again this month. I won't go into the nitty-gritty, but basically some supposed leaks emerged of a Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulator running on the Switch that is being developed by a company that's worked on emulation projects for Nintendo in the past. It's a dangerous game to get too swept up in these kinds of things, but at the same time, it does seem highly likely that at some point we'll see these handheld consoles on the Switch. I actually never owned a Game Boy Advance, so all of my Game Boy Advance experiences come from backwards compatibility on the DS. But I would love to play more of these games because the pixel art on Game Boy Advance games is just gorgeous. And I'd be interested to see which games would make the lineup. Speaking of Game Boys, someone with the username Shintendo has only gone and started making a Game Boy demake of Elden Ring, which is so cool. I love the novelty of demakes, and the idea of potentially being able to play areas from Elden Ring on an actual Game Boy just makes me smile. I'll link to the trailer for it, it's awesome. Whew, well, that's all the news I have for you this month. As always, if there's something I missed that you want to discuss, then go ahead and tippity-tap type it in the comments below. But now it's time for What Did We Been Play? This month I've been chipping away at the new LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Feels like everyone's been playing this game, you know? All the kids have been doing it. Why am I making LEGO Star Wars sound like a party drug? The thing that stood out to me the most about the Skywalker Saga is the exploration and free roaming aspects. The pace and mission length in a lot of the other LEGO games can really throw you around from set piece to set piece, but now in between each story beat, you're given room to breathe and explore iconic locations from the Star Wars universe. I think I've spent more time in this game just exploring locations than I have rushing through its story. And honestly, it's awe-inspiring to just be able to zip around as BB-8 over sand dunes towards a giant starfighter that's been consumed by the desert. The combat has had a nice little upgrade too. You have multiple attacks and a counter, and enemies can block you if you just spam the same button. Oh, and the over-the-shoulder aiming and use of cover when you just want to run and gun is super legit. Flinging a lightsaber around feels as good as it ever has, and there's great set pieces where you can have X-Wing dogfights or pod races on Tatooine. There's a surprising challenge to be found in the game too, but the consequences for dying are extremely minimal, and although combat is more involved, you can still mostly just press one button and do pretty okay. And the Skywalker Saga has reminded me just how much I love the prequels. They're objectively some of the worst Star Wars films, but their tone fits perfectly with the LEGO sense of humor, and they're just the most fun, stupid adventures to play through. Well, that's some of what I've been playing this month. I'd love to know what games have captured your heart, so feel free to leave a comment about it below. But now it's time for the Box Art Showdown. For whatever reason, games get released with different box arts in different regions of the world, and now it's our job to decide which region's box art is the best. And today we're focusing on The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Okay, so this is the iconic North American box art. It's interesting how a lot of the early European and North American Zelda covers went for this minimal gold with a sword design. It's a timeless look, but it does have a contender, so let's see the Japanese box art. Oof! Oof, oof, oof! I fucking love this. I was gonna do a whole thing to build up tension, but screw that. The Japanese cover wins. I love this little Lost Woods Master Sword moment, and the green and gold feels so appropriate. And look at Link's little side-eye face. He will stab you. Well, the Japanese box art wins this A Link to the Past box art showdown for me, but what do you think? And whilst you come to your own conclusions, I'm gonna hop over into some viewer questions. Oh man, everyone, you've just gone and blown me away this month. We've got 2 whole viewer questions. Our first question comes from Atlas Rutabaga, and I have a confession. I really hope I'm saying your name right because I've never even seen the word rutabaga before, and I had to Google it, and apparently it's like a fucking vegetable. I think we call them Swedes in Australia. Okay, future me here. I went grocery shopping the other day and I saw some Swedes. Is this what you are, Atlas? Is this you? Is this what you look like? Anyway, Atlas asks, what is your favorite Nintendo game? And bonus question, did you see the Sonic movie? If so, what did you think? Gosh, trying to pick a favorite Nintendo game is so hard, but I'm just gonna do what I always do and I'll default back to Ocarina of Time. It's the first game that ever just completely blew my mind, and it made me fall in love with music, and I can just replay it over and over again. And it's kind of the game that got me into games and made games not just like a toy that you play with, and more of like this incredible art form that just shook my entire world. As for the Sonic 2 movie, yes, I did see it, and it was pretty good. I kind of wish they hadn't made Knuckles such a goof. I love movies, and it definitely wasn't a Dune or Spider-Man No Way Home, but it was beautiful umami trash, just as I predicted. And I especially enjoyed watching the live-action actors' confused reactions as they tried to interact or look at CGI characters, but no one was ever quite looking in the same direction. I'm sorry that I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you so much for the questions, Atlas. Our next question is from Sorta Pixel, who has been lovely enough to comment on a few of my videos now, so I can only assume that they're a bloody legend. Sorta Pixel asks, what game are you most looking forward to that's coming out this year? For me, it's gotta be Mario Strikers Battle League. Love the game on Wii, excited to see it on Switch. There was 2 games that I was most excited for this year, and they were Breath of the Wild 2, followed by Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And obviously, one's been delayed and we've already had the other, but as for what's left, I'm excited to try out the Klonoa games, and I'm weirdly curious about Sonic Frontiers because It's 3D Sonic games. I don't know what it is, but you just never know what to expect. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. And sorry for throwing like 3 options at you, but if all else fails, probably Silksong. Will this be the year that we finally get Silksong? Everybody put your hands together and pray for Silksong. Thanks for the question, SortaPixel. I love that you're excited about the new Mario Strikers game, and I think you should be, because from that trailer, it's looking pretty epic. That's all the questions for this month, but if anyone else has a question, or you have another question, be it serious or ridiculous, just leave it in the comments and I'll answer it in the next monthly month. But until then, take care of yourselves, play some fun games, and don't know how to finish this sentence. Bye, everyone!